My son walked into the house 3 weeks ago and said, "Mum, we've sorted a viewing at Meadowbrook Care Home for you and Dad." I'm 77 years old. I've lived in this house for 53 years. And my daughter-in-law thinks she's going to put me in a home so she can have my settee, my kitchen, and my entire bloody life. Let me tell you something. I opened my door to them 8 months ago. 8 months. And now I'm a stranger in my own home. You know that feeling when you do something kind, something decent, and it comes back to bite you so hard you can't even breathe? That's where I am right now. Sat in the armchair my late mother gave me, watching my daughter-in-law measure the wall for some modern monstrosity she saw on the telly, talking about how dated everything looks. Dated. My entire life is dated, apparently. Right, let me go back a bit. My youngest son, Gary, he's 43 now, never really got his feet under him, you know. The other 4, they've all got their own homes, their own lives, good jobs, nice families. But Gary? Well, bless him, he's always struggled. And I'm his mum. What was I going to do? Watch him and his wife live in that poky flat with the damp walls and the landlord who didn't give a toss? So I said yes. I opened my home. I thought it'd be lovely, didn't I? A bit of company, someone to help with the shopping. My husband, Eddie, he's got Alzheimer's and it's getting worse. I care for him on my own. The bathing, the feeding, the patience you need when he forgets who I am some days. It's exhausting. I thought maybe having them here would ease the load. And at first, my daughter-in-law Kelly, she was an absolute dream. Before they moved in, she'd pop round with flowers, help me with the washing up, tell me how much she loved my cooking. She called me Mum. She'd hug me tight and say, "You're the mother I never had." I swear, I can still hear those words clear as day. What I didn't realise was that it was all performance. She was buttering me up, wasn't she? Getting me soft. And the second they walked through that door with their suitcases, everything changed. It started small, little comments here and there. "Oh, wouldn't it be easier if we moved this table over there?" Or, "Do you really need all these ornaments, Mum? It's a bit cluttered, innit?" I brushed it off. Thought she was just settling in, trying to make the place feel like home for them too. But then she started rearranging my kitchen. My kitchen. The one I've cooked in for over 5 decades. She moved my pots and pans to different cupboards, threw out my old baking trays because they were too scratched, and bought herself a fancy new air fryer that takes up half the counter. When I asked where my things had gone, she looked at me like I was daft and said, "I put them somewhere sensible, Mum. You're getting confused." Confused. That word started cropping up more and more. Then came the furniture. One Saturday morning, I woke up to find my dining table, the one Eddie and I bought when we first got married, gone. Just gone. Replaced with some flat-pack thing from a catalogue. I stood there in my nightdress, shaking, and said, "Where's my table?" Kelly smiled and said, "Oh, that old thing? It was falling apart. This one's much better, trust me." I wanted to scream. That table had seen 53 Christmases. My children had done their homework on it. My grandkids had drawn pictures on it. And she'd chucked it out like it was nothing. But here's the thing. When I tried to talk to Gary about it, he just shrugged and said, "Mum, Kelly's only trying to help. You've got to let go of the past a bit, yeah?" Let go of the past. That's what he said to me, his other mother. And that's when I started to realise she'd already got to him, properly got to him. She'd been whispering in his ear, painting me as this old woman who couldn't cope, who was losing her marbles, who needed managing. Now, I need to tell you about something that happened about 3 months in, something that made my blood run cold. I was in my bedroom one afternoon, sorting through some old photographs. Eddie was having a nap. The house was quiet, and that's when I heard them. Gary and Kelly downstairs in the kitchen. The floorboards in this old house creak something terrible, and sound travels. They didn't know I could hear every single word. Kelly's voice came first, low but sharp. She said Gary needed to talk to me about signing some papers. Just get her to sign it, babe. Tell her it's for insurance or something. She won't even read it properly. My hands froze on the photo album. Gary said something I couldn't quite catch, and then Kelly snapped back. Oh, come on. She's 77. She's not going to be around forever, is she? And when she goes, we need to make sure this house is sorted. If we get her to sign now, we can avoid all the legal mess later. I felt my chest tighten. I could barely breathe. Gary mumbled something about it not feeling right, and Kelly let out this, she said, "Look, do you want to live in that grotty flat forever, or do you want a proper home? Because this is how we get it." I sat there on the edge of my bed, clutching that photo album, and I realised they weren't just planning to take my house. They were planning to trick me into giving it to them. I didn't confront them. I couldn't. I was too shocked, too hurt. Instead, I stayed in my room for the rest of the afternoon, pretending I hadn't heard a thing. But that night, I rang my solicitor. An old friend, Robert, who's been handling my affairs for years. I told him what I'd heard, and he told me straight, don't sign anything, not a single piece of paper, and make sure the house deeds are locked up safe. I've got a lockbox now, hidden. They'll never find it. But the damage was done, wasn't it? I couldn't look at them the same way after that. Every smile from Kelly felt like a lie. Every time Gary asked me how I was feeling, I wondered if he was sizing me up, waiting for me to lose my mind so they could swoop in. The worst part? Eddie. My darling Eddie, who's been by my side for 57 years. He's not well. Some days he doesn't know where he is. Some days he takes his incontinence pad off because he hates wearing it. And yes, sometimes there's a bit of a smell. It's not pleasant. But I clean him up. I hold his hand. I tell him it's all right, because that's what you do when you love someone, innit? But Kelly? Oh, she complains non-stop. He stinks of piss, Mum. It's disgusting. Why can't he just keep the pad on? She says it loud enough for him to hear, and I see the shame in his eyes. He might not remember much, but he knows when he's being spoken about like he's a burden. One morning, I found her spraying air freshener in the hallway after Eddie walked past. She didn't even try to hide it, just looked at me and said, "Well, someone's got to do something about the smell." I proper saw red in that moment, but I bit my tongue. Because what could I say? She'd twist it. She always twists it. And she does. She lies to Gary, tells him I've said things I haven't, tells him I've forgotten to lock the door, left the hob on, been aggressive with her. None of it's true. But Gary believes her every single time. About 2 weeks ago, I was in the front room, half dozing in my chair. It was late evening, and I thought they'd gone upstairs. But then I heard Kelly's voice again, drifting in from the hallway. She was on her mobile, talking to someone. Probably her mum or one of her mates. She said, "Honestly, she's losing it. She left the back door wide open yesterday. Anyone could have walked in. And she keeps forgetting where she's put things, then accuses me of moving them. None of that was true. I never left the door open. I never accused her of anything. But she was building a case, wasn't she? Creating this narrative that I was incompetent, unfit. Then she actually laughed and said, "Gary reckons we should start looking at care homes properly now. Get her and the old man settled somewhere before it gets worse." Settled. Like we're objects to be stored away. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to Eddie, listening to him breathe, and I thought about everything we'd built. This house, our life, our family. And I thought about how easily it could all be taken away. The next morning, Kelly brought me a cup of tea, all smiles, all sweetness, like she hadn't just been plotting to ship me off to a home the night before. Last week, she told Gary I accused her of stealing money from my purse. I never said that, never even thought it. But she cried to Gary, proper turned on the waterworks, and he came to me all serious and said, "Mum, you can't be making accusations like that. Kelly's really upset." I tried to defend myself, tried to tell him I'd said no such thing, but he just cut me off and said, "Maybe it's time we looked at other living arrangements for you and Dad." Other living arrangements. That's code for a care home, innit? I stared at him. My boy. The child I carried for 9 months, raised, loved, sacrificed for. And he was telling me it was time to go. I wanted to shout. I wanted to grab him by the shoulders and shake him and say, "Can't you see what she's doing?" But I knew it wouldn't work. She'd already poisoned him against me. So I just nodded, said I'd think about it. And I went to my room and cried for the... Listen, I'm 77, but I'm not senile. I'm not losing my mind. I've got a solicitor. I've got money put away that they don't know about. This house is in my name. Legally, they can't touch it. But they don't know that. They think I'm just some helpless old dear who'll roll over and let them take everything. They've been talking about selling the house. I heard them late one night when they thought I was asleep. Kelly said, "If we sell this place, we could split the money and get somewhere proper nice. Just us." And Gary, my own son, he didn't say no. He didn't defend me. He just said, "Yeah, maybe." Split the money. My house. The house I've paid for, maintained, filled with love for over 50 years. And they want to sell it and split the money like I'm already dead. Or the other plan, chuck me and Eddie into a home and keep the house for themselves. Turn it into their little palace. I overheard another conversation just a few days ago. I was coming down the stairs to get a glass of water, and they were in the kitchen again. Kelly was saying something about how much care homes cost, and Gary said, "Well, if we can get her to sign the house over now, we can use that to pay for it." Use my house to pay for a home I don't even want to go to. The audacity. The sheer bloody audacity. But here's what they don't know. I've been documenting everything. Every lie Kelly's told. Every time she's moved my things without asking. Every cruel comment about Eddie. I've written it all down in a notebook that I keep locked away. And I've told Robert, my solicitor, everything. If they try anything, if they try to force me out or trick me into signing papers, I've got evidence. I've got protection. But even knowing that, it doesn't make it hurt any less. Because at the end of the day, this is my son, my flesh and blood. and he's choosing her over me. I think about the little boy he used to be, the one who'd climb into my lap when he was scared, the one who'd bring me dandelions from the garden and call them flowers, the one who told me I was the best mum in the world. Where did that boy go? I miss my freedom. I miss making a roast on a Sunday without Kelly standing over me saying, "That's too much salt, Mum." I miss sitting in my chair without her tutting because I'm in her way. I miss feeling like this house is mine. I miss being able to get up in the morning and not feel like I'm walking into a battlefield. But here's what keeps me up at night. If I kick them out, if I tell them to leave, Gary will never forgive me. He's my son, my baby. And as much as this hurts, as much as I want to scream at both of them to get out, I don't know if I can do it. Because what if something happens? What if I fall? What if Eddie has one of his bad days and I can't manage? At least with them here, there's someone around. At least I'm not completely alone. But is that living? Is that really living? Being a prisoner in your own home, just so you've got someone to call an ambulance if you collapse. I think about my age. I think about how the years have crept up on me. My back aches, my hands shake. I can't move like I used to. But that doesn't mean I'm disposable, does it? That doesn't mean I've lost my voice. That doesn't mean I've stopped being a person. I'm still here. I'm still me. And I deserve to be treated with respect. But they don't see it that way. To them, I'm just an obstacle. An old woman taking up space in a house they've already decided is theirs. Yesterday, I found Kelly looking at brochures for care homes. She'd left them on the kitchen table, right where I'd see them. Meadowbrook, Sunnydale, Oak Ridge Manor. All glossy photos of smiling old people in cardigans, sat in sterile communal lounges with plastic plants. She saw me staring at them and said, "Just doing a bit of research, Mum. You know, for when the time comes." When the time comes. Like it's inevitable. Like I've already agreed to it. I picked up one of the brochures and looked at the prices. £4,000 a month. 4,000. And she expects me to hand over my house to pay for that. I put the brochure down and looked her dead in the eye. I said, "I'm not going anywhere, Kelly." She smiled, that same sweet, condescending smile. And she said, "Well, we'll do, won't we? We'll see." Like she's already won. So what do I do? Do I hurt my son and tell them to leave? Give them a few weeks to find somewhere else and reclaim my home? Or do I keep quiet, keep swallowing it all down and hope that maybe, just maybe, Kelly will soften? That Gary will wake up and say what's really going on? I don't know. All I know is this. I didn't survive 77 years to be made to feel like I don't matter. I didn't raise 5 children, care for a husband with Alzheimer's, and keep this house standing through every storm life threw at me, just to be shoved aside like I'm nothing. I won't let that happen. I can't. Part of me wants to march downstairs right now, look them both in the face, and tell them to pack their bags. Tell them I know what they've been planning. Tell them I heard every word, every lie, every scheme. But the other part of me, the part that's tired and lonely and scared, that part wonders if maybe it's easier to just let it happen, to go quietly, to stop fighting. But then I think about Eddie, about the way he looks at me some mornings, even when he doesn't remember my name, and I see love in his eyes, real love. the kind that doesn't need memory to exist. And I think, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not finished. This is my home, my life, and I'll be damned if I let anyone take it from me without a fight, even if that someone is my own son. But Lord, I'm so tired. You know what? I don't have the answers yet. I wish I could sit here and tell you I've sorted it all out, that I know exactly what I'm going to do. But I don't. Some days I wake up ready to fight. Other days I just want peace, even if it means swallowing my pride. What I do know is this: I'm not invisible. I'm not disposable. And I'm not going quietly into the night just because it's convenient for someone else. If you've ever felt like this, like you're fighting to hold on to your own life, while everyone around you is trying to write you off, then you know how heavy this weighs. It's not just about the house. It's about dignity. It's about being seen. And I refuse to be unseen. Well, that's it, my dears. If you've given me a little bit of your time, I'm grateful. Thank you for listening. Because sometimes you just need to get it all out, don't you? And leave your thoughts down below. Tell me what you'd do. What do you reckon I should do? All right? Thank you from the bottom of my heart.